Greetings, fellow beans. Today we are looking at a new game from Rio Grande Games, Evacuation. This is a new Vladimir Suchy game. I'm not going to flip it over because I don't feel like it today. Here is the age, 1 to 4 players, 75 to 150 minutes. So, as is the case with a lot of his games, there are a ton of components. So first we have a score pad. We have extra baggies. These are resource cubes. It's to denote the resources. There's steel, food, and I believe energy, if I remember correctly. So you have 1s and 3s. So now we have a little baggie with other stuff. So these are, I believe, your board overlays, either the progress board or your player board. I believe it's your player board. I see the 1 on it. And then different modules, and then a solo tile. And here's more tokens. I believe these are penalty tokens. Again, the spaceship's here in a minute. Another extra baggie. So you have your different player colors, and we're going to choose which one we want to go through. So you have blue. You have white. This looks like pink to me, but they call it purple in the rule book. And yellow. So we'll go over this here in a minute. You have technology tiles. So these have 4 different groupings of them. Each person's going to have a different number, chosen randomly. So on the back, you have 2, and then what level it is, a 1, 2, or 3. And on the front, you have different abilities that you'll be unlocking. So there's that. Each one has different technologies. So there is 4 sets of those. Alright, now we're into some cards. So these are the play cards. So typically in the standard game, unless you play the advanced one, you just care about the back and you're going to put these under the actions you take. However, if you play with the advanced action variant, then you have the different side. This side, which has the actions and other abilities with it. Alright, so that is a big stack of play cards. This stack of cards has quite a few different things in it. So we'll go from the back. So these should be stadium cards. You're going to be wanting to get these and put these on your new world. How this game is you have an old world that you're moving everything over to the new world with. And the new world wants stadiums because they want to have happiness level, which this will help set up turn order as the game goes along. So here are the different stadiums. Next up you have, I want to say these were the solo cards. There's those. These are gold cards, so if you don't play the race version, which is the main version, if you play the points version, then everyone will get goals to try to accomplish. And so here's your different gold cards. What do we got up next? I don't quite remember which ones these were. I do know they are double-sided though. There we go. This is the module card, if I remember correctly. Then you have your infrastructure cards, your 2s and your 1s. And then you're going to have your end of year cards. So these, you're going to shuffle. This will be the final one. Then you have all these other ones you're going to give. And then on this side, you're basically going to have a power level based on the actions you take, and then that will determine what bonus you get. And there's two different ways of doing it, a strict and a generous. A strict is you'd have to have 7 or 10. In a generous one, it's above and below. So there are all of those. Let's look at these infrastructure cards. So here's your cost. This means there's another one with this illustration. A player can only have one of each illustration on theirs. And then this kind of denotes what they need to have, and then they get these resources. So, infrastructure cards. Now you have your player boards. So when you set this up, you make sure you have the new world on the left and the old world on the right in relation to the board. If not, you can flip it over. Now you have the old world and the new world. So you have to have it set up representing the board in front of you. This is where you're going to put your technologies in your levels 1s, 2s, and 3s. You're going to move over a cube here as you're taking your actions, and they eventually start costing energy and then more and more energy. And then these are the different actions you are able to take, and then that is their power level 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is in case you go above 10. This is how you track your production on the new world. So that's those. There we go. So there are the 4 different player boards. We finally get to the rule book. So let's see, so main board, 4 player boards, a rule book, explanation sheet we haven't gotten to, action cards, year-end bonus, stadium, goal, infrastructure, 4 help cards are in the players packs, 4 public task cards, so that was the one that I think I wasn't sure about, 1 module card, 7 solo cards, technology tiles, I get back to the spaceships, 4 old world cover tiles. Alright, so this board is a long board. Because you have the 2 different worlds. So there's the old world, and you just have these groups where you put your building tokens at the beginning of the game. You have this progress track that swoops in between the 2 that you'll be moving discs. This determines how much you need to feed the 2 different planets in each year, and then how many stadiums they want. And then there's the new world. You have your different biomes, which will tell you where you can actually build and not build. And then what you need to do to have it, and then what goes there, and what you get. So that was that board. Then you'll have your explanation sheet. So this shows all the technologies and all the gold cards. Alright, let me get now to showing you those spaceships. So on these spaceships, they have how much it costs to get them, and then what they can hold. So this has an evacuation space of one that's got a blue icon on it, and this can hold 2 stadiums or 2 buildings and 1 resource. And that'll cost 2 energy to launch. And that's what its back looks like. So these all have varying colors and what they can hold, and how much it costs to send them off. So a multitude of spaceships. I do like that they opted for punch board with this as opposed to just cards or something silly like that, because these do feel nice. So there's your spaceships. Alright, let's look at what each player gets, because it is a baggie full of stuff. So each one has a starting stadium and that help card. There we go. You have starting buildings. These are the ones that I said would go on that map. At the beginning of the game, they have an icon that matches the other one, and it basically shows production on them. You have your factories that will go on the new world, and these will help you produce in the new world. So you get a bunch of those. You have the tracking, the resource production tracking discs, one for each color. And then you have a bunch of these little plastic discs that are used for a variety of things. As population, they go on the main board as your trackers there. They track your round movement on your player board as you're going across. Just dink, 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 dink. So again, variety of uses for those. That's why you have so many of them. But I think that was it. I showed you everything that was in Evacuation. As you saw, quite a bit of stuff. Alright, I am the Groom. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.